Hello, YouTubers. Woo-wee, this has been one humdinger of a day. Wow, the news has just been pouring in here, and the majority of it has been about the election. So I thought I'd go ahead and bring you a special edition and catch you up on everything that's going on. Wow, the fire has been turned up on the burner. Woo-wee. First one we have here is off of Liberty Writers News. And I'm waiting for the hamster to fling it up here on the page for me. Come on, little buddy. All right, here we go. Wienergate. Hillary is over. Look what Anthony Weiner just leaked about Hillary. This is huge. That's why we need every single patriot in America to shout it from the rooftops. Light up the signal fires, y'all. Share this all over the internet till you can't share it anymore. Hillary knew 5 years ago that Anthony Weiner was messaging an underage girl. She and her inner circle did nothing about it. Seriously. John Podesta, one of her campaign managers, and Neera Tanden were forwarded news about Anthony Weiner contacting a 17-year-old girl. They probably all knew. That's why the people are mad. We need to get this out there. Even Obama probably knows about it. It's just sad. The entire Democratic Party is falling apart. This is ugly, and it's about to get uglier. There is a message in this. I'm not sure which site that this is off of. And it is Anthony Weiner messaging some girl. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Next article that we have is off of sonsoflibertymedia.com. And we'll get the ads off of it here so that I can get to the article. Holy smoke. There we go. Obama's DOJ is blocking the FBI from Huma Abedin's emails. America learned a worrisome bit of news on Sunday when mainstream media outlets began reporting that while the Department of Justice was in possession of tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands, of new and unseen emails pertinent to the investigation into Hillary Clinton's private email server, they were not allowing the FBI to have access to those emails. This is extremely frustrating news, as there is less than 2 weeks to go before Election Day, and most Americans would like to know for sure if Hillary Clinton is indeed a crook before they go pull the voting lever. Yahoo News reported that the FBI had not obtained a warrant to see the emails, but this should be a moot point for 2 reasons. First, Anthony Weiner, the subject of the investigation that dug up new Aberdeen Clinton emails, has been cooperating and gave investigators clearance to all the devices and electronic material. Secondly, Aberdeen previously swore to investigators that she had turned over all the devices and all of her recorded emails. The discovery of a new device and thousands of emails proves she lied to investigators and could be facing prison for doing so. And there's an update. It says the FBI warrant finally came through Sunday evening, and they should begin combing through every email on the laptop soon. While DOJ may be stonewalling the FBI for now, the news Brett Baer explained that the FBI doesn't need a warrant because Weiner has already given them permission to search the computer. And it goes on down here. It says, additionally, U.S. Attorney's Office and local law enforcement have access to FBI laboratory, for example, to conduct scientific examinations of evidence for any federal, state, and or local law enforcement organization in the United States. With all of these enforcement agencies, both local and federal, now looking into this case, it's a sign that they're really going after him. A law enforcement source told the New York Post back in September they want to nail him. Less than 2 weeks ago, the Daily Mail reported that a federal grand jury was expected to hear the allegations against Weiner in the coming weeks. Weiner, as a result of the grand jury convening, already received federal subpoena for his devices, as reported by CNN in September. The FBI confiscated Weiner's electronic devices on October the 3rd, the New York Times reported. What does it all mean? FBI is going to get those emails, each and every one. The DOJ knows this, which means the only possible reason for belaboring the handoff to FBI to slow the course of the investigation, ensuring that any information is held until after Election Day. This is corrupt and election fraud of the highest order, coordinated by Obama's DOJ and executed by Attorney General Loretta Lynch. Next article I have is off of BizPac Review. Forward to come up on the screen. And down. Reported feud breaks out between the FBI and the DOJ over investigation of Clinton Foundation. Attention on more Hillary Clinton-related emails being discovered. The Wall Street Journal reported Monday on an internal feud between FBI and the Justice Department that centers around an investigation of the Clinton Foundation. An investigation that resulted in agents allegedly being told to stand down. The Journal, DOJ officials had concerns about lack of evidence, and with the election so close, the possibility that the probe would be seen as political interference. Says more from WSJ. New details show that senior law enforcement officials repeatedly voiced skepticism of the strength of the evidence in the Bureau's investigation of the Clinton Foundation, sought to condense what was at times sprawling cross-country effort, and, according to some people familiar with the matter, told agents to limit their pursuit of the case. The probe of the foundation began more than a year ago to determine whether financial crimes or influence peddling occurred related to the charity. Some investigations grew frustrating, viewing FBI leadership as uninterested in probing the charity, these people said. Others involved disagreed sharply, defending FBI bosses and saying Mr. McCabe in particular was caught between an increasingly acrimonious fight for control between the Justice Department and the FBI agents pursuing the Clinton Foundation case. FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe was caught between an increasingly acrimonious fight for control between the Justice Department and the FBI agents pursuing the Clinton Foundation case, Guy Benson, the political editor of townhall.com, wrote. Benson posted a snippet of the WSJ story on social media along with the caption, DOJ officials was very pissed off that FBI was pursuing its Clinton Foundation investigation and applied pressure to kill. And the insert here reads, according to a person familiar with the probes on August 12th, a senior Justice Department official called Mr. McCabe to voice his displeasure at finding that New York FBI agents were still openly pursuing the Clinton Foundation probe during the election season. Mr. McCabe said agents still had the authority to pursue the issue as long as they didn't use overt methods requiring Justice Department approval. The Justice Department official was very pissed off, according to one person close to Mr. McCabe, and pressed him to explain why the FBI was still chasing the matter the department considered dormant. Agents said McCabe, who was in the news recently when it was revealed that PAC-controlled Democratic Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe donated nearly $500,000 to his wife's 2015 campaign for state office, gave the stand-down order, though others deny the claim. Others, further down the FBI chain of command, however, said agents were given much starker instruction on the case. Stand down. When agents questioned why they weren't allowed to take more aggressive steps, they said they were told the order had come from Deputy Director Mr. McCabe. Others familiar with the matter deny Mr. McCabe or any other senior FBI official gave such a stand-down instruction. Next article, off of Philly.com. Waiting for it to come up on the page. Here we go. State raids Delco offices seeking evidence of voter registration fraud. It says Pennsylvania State Police have raided a Delaware County political field office seeking evidence of possible voter registration fraud, according to court records. In late last week in county court, Investigators said they were seeking documents, financial information, and lists of employees at the Norwood offices of Fieldworks LLC, a national organization that often does street work for Democrats, records show. The warrant did not specify the nature of the probe, but said agents were looking for templates to construct fraudulent voter registration forms and completed voter registration forms containing same or similar identifying information of individuals on multiple forms. A Delaware County judge on Friday afternoon signed the search, but it was not known when it was executed. The warrant application was approved by the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office. Jeff Johnson, a spokesman for the Attorney General's office, declined to comment. In a statement Monday, spokesman for Fieldworks national headquarters in Washington said the company has zero tolerance for fraud, now working with county officials to provide them with information on our program and applications they are investigating. Matt Dorf. In keeping with our regular practice, we will work aggressively with authorities to seek the prosecution of anyone involved. Fieldworks described itself as a nationally recognized grassroots organization firm founded to help progressive organizations, advocacy groups, and members of the Democratic family take their public engagement and electoral strategies to the next level. It was founded in 2001, according to its promotional information online. The company did not respond to requests for comment on which campaigns or political groups have hired them to work in Pennsylvania. Fieldworks voter registration efforts in Ohio sparked some controversy. Fieldworks employees filed thousands of new voter registration cards in the final week before the registration deadline. Some of them were found to be fraudulent. In that same election, Fieldworks included a cover letter with its mass voter filing warning that it viewed scores of the submitted names as fraudulent. Police in Cincinnati arrested a former Ohio University student in 2012 working in Fieldworks on charges of forging 22 signatures on a petition drive. Police said at the time that Fieldworks itself played no role in that man's scheme to pad his list. The next article I have is off of regated.com. And waiting. Come on, hamster. All right. This says Steve Pazanik, U.S. intelligence waging coup against corrupt Clintons. Rumors and allegations that Bill and Hillary Clinton belong to a high-level pedophile ring have surfaced on the internet. Without much credence or proof behind the claims, I initially dismissed them. The rumors only persisted and grew. Now, Steve Pazanik has now come forward with stunning claims that add fuel to the fire. As Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under Henry Kissinger, is well versed in foreign policy, international crisis management, and psychological warfare. He also served under presidential administration as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, and George H.W. Bush's White House. In other words, Steve Pazanik, with his proven history of experience, is the real deal. Pazanik claims that the Clintons and their close associates have successfully pulled off a coup by corruption. He explains that the total corruption and co-option were two strategies behind his coup, or behind this coup. Pazanik says Bill and Hillary Clinton co-opted assets of our government: the White House, the judiciary, the CIA, the FBI. As far as I'm concerned, the idea is well beyond some lunatic conspiracy theory, but increasingly likely. Attorney General Loretta Lynch is obviously in the pocket of the Clintons, intervening and obstructing FBI investigations into Hillary Clinton's private home server and emails at every turn. James Comey, who was on the board of directors at HSBC Bank, a bank that gave $81 million to the Clinton Foundation, is also the corrupt head of the FBI. Pazanik goes further to explain that the U.S. intelligence community has started a counter coup against the Clintons, providing information to Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. We can finally stop blaming Russians. Pisanek states clearly that U.S. intelligence offered data to Julian Assange. This counter-coup is working against Hillary Clinton in her campaign and seeks to indict major players in her alleged corrupt scheme. Steve Pisanek ends the video and tells us the revolution is happening. Pisanek claims both Clintons are frequent travelers on the Lolita Express, billionaire Jeffrey Epstein's private plane. The Lolita Express flies to Epstein's private island where the elite duo can have sex with minors. He claims the NYPD has a record of the Clintons and close associates that could potentially implicate them in pedophilia. Pisanek tells that officials will charge Hillary Clinton with multiple crimes, including obstruction of justice and other charges. He says that Bill Clinton may also suffer criminal charges. He explains the U.S. intelligence is aware of Clinton's shady and illicit misdeeds and that these trips on the Lolita Express were supposedly frequent. And there is videos in that one if you want to take a look at those. All these URLs are in the description of the video, so you can take a look at anything you need to pull up more information about. The article I have is off of 100%fedup.com. Whoa, Chicago Tribune. If nation was more important to Democrats than power, they would ask her to step down now. Become so numb by these decades of lies and cynicism oozing from Clinton Incorporated that elect Hillary Clinton as president, even after Friday's FBI announcement that it had reopened an investigation of her emails while Secretary of State. Soon enough, the system is breaking down. It's been crumbling for some time now. The establishment elite know it, and they're properly frightened. The Bulgarian at their gates is a symptom, not a cause. Hillary Clinton and husband Bill are both cause and effect. FBI Director James Comey's announcement about the renewed Clinton email investigation is the bombshell in the presidential campaign that he announced this so close to Election Day should tell every thinking person that what the FBI is looking at is extremely serious. About pervert Anthony Weiner and his reported desire for teenage girls, but it can be about the laptop of Weiner's wife, Clinton aide Huma Abedin, and emails between her and Hillary. It comes after FBI investigation in which Comey concluded Clinton had lied with national secrets, but said he could not recommend prosecution. So what should the Democrats do now? If ruling Democrats hold themselves to the high moral standards that they impose on people they govern, they would follow a simple process. They demand that Mrs. Clinton step down immediately and let the vice presidential nominee, Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, stand in her place. I should say, honestly, that with new criminal investigation going into events around her homebrew email server from the time she was Secretary of State, where near the White House is just not a good idea. Since October the 7th, WikiLeaks has released 35,000 emails hacked from Clinton campaign boss John Podesta. Now it's jumping around. Holy smoke. Okay, now WikiLeaks no longer a neutral player, but an active anti-Clinton agency plans to release another 15,000 emails. What if she's elected? Think of a nation suffering a bad economy and continuing chaos in the Middle East, and now also facing a criminal investigation of a president. Congressional investigation and public vision of Clinton as a Nixonian figure wandering the halls, wringing her hands. Democrats to ask her to step down now. It would be most responsible thing to do if the nation were more important to them than power, and the American news media, fairly or not firmly identified in the public mind as Mrs. Clinton's political action committee, should begin demanding it. But what will Hillary do? She'll stick and ride this out and turn her anger toward Comey. For Hillary and Bill Clinton, it's always been about power. about the Clinton restoration and protecting fortunes already made by selling nothing but political influence. She'll remind the nation that she's a woman and that Donald Trump said terrible things about women. If there is another notorious Trump video to be leaked, the Clintons should probably leak it now. Then her allies and media can talk about misogyny and sexual politics, and headlines can be all about Trump as the bore he is and Hillary as champions of female victims, which she has never been. Bill Clinton leveraged the year of the woman. Then he preyed on women in the White House, and Hillary protected him. But the political left, most particularly the women of the left, defended him because he promised to protect abortion rights and their other agendas. If you take a step back from the tribal politics, you'll see that Mrs. Clinton has clearly disqualified herself from ever coming near classified information again. If she were a young person straight out of grad school hoping to land a government job, Hillary Clinton would be laughed out of Washington with her record. She'd never be hired. As Secretary of State, she kept classified documents on the homebrew server in her basement, which is against the law. She lied about it to American people. She couldn't remember details dozens of times when questioned by the FBI. Her aides destroyed evidence by bleach bit and hammers. Her husband, Bill, met secretly on an airport tarmac with Attorney General Loretta Lynch for about a half hour, and all they said they talked about was golf and the grandkids. And there was no prosecution of Hillary. That isn't merely wrong and unethical, it's poisonous. And during this presidential campaign, Americans were confronted with two-tiered system of federal justice, one for standards for the Clintons and one for the peasants. The next article I have for you is off of Infowars.com. It says, caught, Clinton voters being bussed to the polls. Millie Weaver catches limousine buses from the green energy company transporting Hillary Clinton voters to polls in swing state Ohio. Next Gen Climate, owned by Tom Steyer, Hillary Clinton's largest single donor, is paying for the limousine service. Millie Weaver confronts them only to find out it's a nonprofit organization caught engaging in partisan activities, violating IRS rules for nonprofit political organizations. Next article I have is off of allnewspipeline.com. Shell. The MSM won't report. Top media names busted colluding with Hillary Clinton's campaign. I mean, I think, all pretty much knew this, but it's nice to see somebody else has recognized it and put it in print, isn't it? In August 2016, when CNN anchor Chris Cuomo admitted on national television that the mainstream media were the biggest ones promoting the Hillary Clinton campaign and that the MSM was giving her a free ride, many pointed to it as proof of the media bias they have been witnessing since the party conventions had ended, where 91% of the coverage of Donald Trump being negative, with only 38% of Clinton's coverage being negative. A quick reminder of those words from the horse's mouth, so to speak, below before we delve into the recent WikiLeaks bombshell that shows it's not just bias, but actually collusion between the Clinton campaign and journalists, national reporters, and television anchors that began before the Clinton campaign officially launched. And there's videos here that you can click on to watch how they're reiterating this. It says, in the second clip, Cuomo tells CNN viewers to remember it is illegal to possess these stolen documents, meaning the WikiLeaks hacked email releases, and it's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning from us. What the mainstream media isn't telling Americans. That is a critical 15-second statement, because there's one specific WikiLeaks release that CNN and a number of other outlets have not informed their viewers about. Specifically, the fact that dozens upon dozens of influential reporters, anchors, and editors were invited and accepted invitations to off-the-record cocktails with Clinton campaign members days before Clinton launched her campaign. It's jumping around here. Included in the list of Clinton campaign goals of conducting these off-the-record dinners and cocktails with these media members is framing the HRC messaging and framing the race. The list of these media members can be found at Breitbart and is going through the list, as well as searching for national coverage by these very same reporters. We see nearly all of them have consistently reported negatively about Donald Trump while giving Hillary Clinton a free ride by either downplaying or totally ignoring her scandals, including the Clinton Foundation pay-to-play and her email server scandal. The combined list, which include more than one get-together, shows members from ABC News, CBS News, CNN, Bloomberg, Daily Beast, Huffington Post, MSNBC, NBC, New Yorker, New York Times, People, Politico, AP, BuzzFeed, Reuters, and WSJ, and those are the ones that RSVP'd saying they would attend. Plugging the names on the list into the search engine, along with Clinton and Trump's names, we see a pattern emerge, showing anti-Trump negative and consistent coverage with pro-Clinton positive and consistent coverage. For example, ABC's Celia Vega, in reporting on final presidential debate, lamented on how Latinos were crying. They were offended, downright disgusted, over Trump's use of the phrase hombres line, as she declared how brave Clinton was. Via Newsbusters, aside from the barrage of coverage following Wednesday's final presidential debate concerning Donald Trump's non-commitment to accept November's election results, there were few instances where that wasn't discussed, and ABC used their precious time to inform us Latinos were crying over Trump's hombres line and assured viewers that Hillary clearly won the face-off. Clinton campaign correspondent and Saturday's World News Tonight anchor Celia Vega reported from the spin room that for the Clinton camp, it was best debate because she bravely confronted women by quoting Donald Trump, using his own words despite being bothered about Trump's election comments. Another ABC News journalist on the list of those that accepted the invitations to the off-the-record event with the Clinton campaign staffers is George Stephanopoulos, who many young voters do not know was a leading member of Bill Clinton's 1992 U.S. presidential campaign and was part of the Clinton administration until he resigned shortly after Clinton was reelected in 1996. In May of 2015, it was reported by Politico and others that Stephanopoulos had also donated $75,000 to the Clinton Foundation, to which he did not disclose to ABC News viewers until after he was revealed by other sources. ABC News chief anchor George Stephanopoulos has given $75,000 to the Clinton Foundation in recent years, charitable contributions that he did not publicly disclose while reporting on the Clintons' private organization, the On Media blog has learned. In 2012, 2013, and 2014, Stephanopoulos made $25,000 donations to the 501 nonprofit founded by former President Bill Clinton, the foundation's records show. Stephanopoulos never disclosed this information to viewers, even when interviewing author Peter Schweitzer last month about his book, Clinton Cash, which alleges that donations to the foundation may have influenced some of Hillary Clinton's actions as Secretary of State. While previous examples can be found, the latest example of Stephanopoulos' pro-Hillary and anti-Trump bias could be seen in his sit-down one-on-one with Donald Trump last week, where he was grilling Trump about his campaign against Hillary, to which he has made seriously amusing headlines after the following exchange, when Stephanopoulos asked Trump, "When you look back over the sweep of this campaign going back to last June, is there anything you regret?" "I'd love to have done in life certain things over, I guess, and you would have too." Stephanopoulos then made the mistake of asking Trump to name one, to which Trump shot back with, "You would love to have not contributed to the Clinton Foundation, as an example. There are things you wish you didn't do, okay?" Watch Stephanopoulos' body language and face after that in this video below. And you can pull up that video and take a look at it if you want to chuckle. It says, perhaps good old George should have been more clear, yes? The follow-up exchange transcribed by Newsbusters show the type of pro-Clinton and anti-Trump bias these so-called journalists consistently have shown since the beginning of the Clinton campaign. George Stephanopoulos says, at the same time you were the beneficiary of $1 billion in free media during the primaries. And Donald Trump says, I don't know if you call it $1 billion free when it's bad. What it should really be talking about is WikiLeaks and the horrible things that have come out about Hillary Clinton. The horrible things. Stephanopoulos says, let's stick on this election idea. Yes, free media is so much more relevant and important to voters than the corruption and collusion exposed by WikiLeaks on the part of the DNC and the Clinton campaign. No bias there, huh? Other ABC News reporters on the two lists are David Murr, Diane Sawyer, John Carl, and Liz Kritz. Let's jump to another reporter that's accepted the invitation to Clinton campaign little get-togethers. Politico's Glenn Thrush, who WikiLeaks revealed recently has sent his upcoming article to Clinton campaign chair John Podesta with a note saying, because I have become a hack, I will send you the whole section that pertains to you. Please don't share or tell anyone I did this. Tell me if I screwed up anything. Other Politico reporters on the list are Mike Allen, Annie Carey, and Gabe Debendetti, I guess it's pronounced. Another listed on the second list of those accepting one of the invitations from the Clinton campaign is CNBC's John Harwood, who was moderator for a 2015 presidential debate and had bragged to Podesta in leaked emails about how he goaded Trump at the debate, as well as multiple other examples of bias found in other Podesta Harwood emails reported by Breitbart here and here. And there's links you can click on if you want to see those. Between the two RSVP lists, there are 9 different CNN reporters, and frankly, I do not believe examples need to be shown when it comes to CNN. Everybody knows they are in Clinton's pocket, and everyone that thinks debatable, go to the top of this article to the first video and listen again to CNN anchor Chris Como admitting it. Also, between the two RSVP lists, there are 5 different New York Times reporters that accepted the invitations for the off-the-record gatherings to frame the HRC message and the race, including Gail Collins, Jonathan Martin, Maggie Haberman, Patrick Healy, and Amy Koznick, with Haberman and Koznick listed on both lists. All the New York Times names above are linked to the individual article pages, and just using Gail Collins as an example of the type of coverage she regularly offers, here are the headlines listed from September 21st through October 27th of 2016. Dark Days of Trump, Don't Take Donald Trump to Dinner, The Debate is One Scary Answer, and Now the Good News Is, and Who's Sorry Now? The Country, How Could Anyone Vote for Trump? Who's Really Older, Trump or Clinton? And Now Presidential Dog Days. Anyone else noticing a pattern of reporting, specifically by the very journalists that attend the Clinton campaign powwows? Full list of RSVP said yes to the second gathering at the New York home of Joel Benison, chief campaign strategist for Hillary Clinton, 2 days before she announced her candidacy in 2015, below. And, oh, Lord, there's 38 of these. I'll just give you 4 or 5 examples. ABC, Celia Vega, Daily Beast, Jackie Kusnich, GPG, Mike Feldman, MSNBC, Alex Wagner, New York Times, Maggie Haberman. And, there's, if you want to see all 38, you can pull it up and take a look at this. It says the guest list for the earlier event at the home of John Podesta was limited to reporters who were expected to cover Clinton on the campaign trail. Can be seen at WikiLeaks. Bottom line, perhaps even the more disturbing than the outright bias is the issue of collusion, where the media outlets are not only penning anti-Trump articles and reportage, but are actually taking their cues and marching orders directly from Hillary Clinton and her campaign. Just look at the spin we're seeing after FBI Director James Comey dropped his bombshell about finding more relevant emails in connection with the Clinton investigation. We see this attacking Comey, claiming he is trying to influence the election and pushing the narrative that Harry Reid claims the FBI has information on Trump ties to Russia. Both narratives completely destroyed by the White House itself. Anything to distract from the bombshell was dropped 11 days before Election Day, and the media is running with it to help Hillary Clinton. Newsflash to the mainstream media. Neither Russia, Comey, Trump, or WikiLeaks forced Hillary Clinton to set up a private server, use said server to send classified information, lied about it, or destroyed 30,000 plus emails after receiving a subpoena for them. It also wasn't Russia, Comey, Trump, or WikiLeaks that gave access to thousands of emails, some of which possibly classified disgraced Anthony Weiner, that was Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin. Next article I have for you is off of the Common Sense Show, and it says WikiLeaks. Clinton was complicit in the murder of Ambassador Stevens. The CSS printed this allegation 4 years ago. Article by stating that this work has been updated 3 times in 10 hours. Information is coming out, WikiLeaks and other sources, faster than any of us can keep up with. WikiLeaks is about to confirm the story that Common Sense Show did 4 years ago, in that Ambassador Stevens was set up to die because his stories of gun running, child trafficking, and drug running on behalf of the CIA in order to promote regime change in Libya using terrorists funded by these illegal activities were leaking out, and it was only a few months until the election day. Subsequently, Ambassador Stevens had to be silenced, and Petraeus had to be put in his place, where he was not forced to testify before Congress because he could not take the fifth before Congress. At the same time, Clinton was broadcasting Stevens' whereabouts, and she refused to provide extra protection Stevens was so desperately requesting. Being that Stevens was working for the CIA, then head of CIA, would have known about Chris Stevens' activities. To protect Obama's 2012 election, both Stevens and Petraeus had to be gone. People are asking me how I knew all of this 4 years ago, and I say I had deep cover sources from inside one of the military intelligence services who wanted the real truth to be told. Somebody who knew this nation could not afford to let Clinton ever become president. Now I'm getting confirmation from WikiLeaks and others who have reached the same conclusion I did 4 years ago. And there's a letter here. It says, "Dear Mr. Hodges, this is to inform you that WikiLeaks will soon or has released Clinton emails, which will demonstrate the following. Clinton's emails. Number 1, Qatar approached the Clintons about the Qatar-Turkey pipeline, also made donation to CGI and Bill's $1 million birthday gift. The country the pipeline has to cross through, not currently friendly with the Clintons cartel in Syria. Number 3, ISIS was formed and used to topple the other oil competitors in the region, Assad, Gaddafi, etc., in order to create a Clinton, Qatar, Saudi, Turkey, ISIS oil empire monopoly. Number 4, Obama's job was to keep Erdogan in control of Turkey in order for the deal to move forward. Number 5, Hillary wants NATO UN to block the flow of Russian oil to Europe, so her cartel would control all of the oil being sold to Europe. Number 6, buying oil from ISIS, namely Erdogan's son-in-law. Russia's economy is directly controlled by their oil production. That's why they are fighting in Syria. If they allow the Clinton cartel plan to go through, Russia's economy will crash overnight. But Hillary must force Russia out of Syria for her plan to work. Ambassador Stevens found out what was going on through Gaddafi's former generals. When he was going to come forward, Hillary left him to die at the hands of rebels she had armed. That would explain why Gaddafi's men were the only ones that finally arrived to help. They had been friendly with Ambassador Stevens. Please note that I have covered the ISIS-Lafarge-Clinton connections very prominently in the past year. This is just more confirmation of what I have already covered. The above is already appearing on the internet in several places. It is clear that Putin would be a fool to allow Clinton and her gang of thugs to continue with their plan. Every time Clinton sags in the polls, she starts talking about 9/11. The evidence is beginning to line up to Clinton's interests had motive to commit 9/11. No wonder Clinton tries to blame the Russians for everything. She's the main culprit on the world being brought to the precipice of World War III. It's a gratifying feeling when the dots start to connect. Aaron Klein revelations. Aaron Klein, the Breitbart bureau chief for Jerusalem, revealed in Breitbart publication dated March 1st, 2016, revealed that the email from April 10th, 2011, the State Department employee Timmy Davis forwarded an email to the server by Clinton aide Huma Abedin. Please note that the time of this revelation, Huma Abedin was not yet a household name. The series of emails will eventually have catastrophic consequences for Ambassador Stevens. And the quote is, an email containing the whereabouts and plans of murdered U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens passed through Hillary Clinton's private server, dispatches released Monday in the final group of messages from Clinton's email reveal, unquote. Before are some examples of the allegations posed by Klein, and these are not empty charges, as Klein ordered proof of the following emails. A March 27, 2011 email released last year was titled Chris Stevens' Mission. It divulged the current game plan for Mr. Stevens to move no later than Wednesday from Malta to Benghazi. He will stage offshore initially for one day visit, during which he will have meetings with TNC interlocutors and get a sense of the situation on the ground. The goal of this one-day trip is for him to lay the groundwork for a stay of up to 30 days. An April 8, 2011 email was forwarded to Clinton revealing the security situation in Benghazi remains quiet. Chris Stevens and team are in a hotel, moving only for meetings as required. April 22nd, 2011 email revealed Stevens was on the road. I want to let you know about a temporary rotation in Benghazi. TNC envoy Chris Stevens has been on the road since March 13th when he began his outreach mission and has been in Benghazi since April the 5th. An April 24th, 2011 email has the exact time of Stevens' meeting. Stevens will be meeting with MFA in 1 hour and will make written requests for better security at the hotel and for better security-related coordination. He still feels comfortable in the hotel. They're looking into the idea of moving to a villa, but that's some way off. If later emails are released, I have no doubt that we will see that Clinton was transmitting Stevens' location up until the time of the attack upon Benghazi compound, and this explains why some of the emails are not being released. However, at some point, they'll see the light of day. The release of travel information, if any, is in any form, is a felony. Remember, the Stevens travel plans are classified, and they came from Clinton's private server. A casual Law and Order fan could make the casual connection between the release of these emails and Stevens' death. This is absolute evidence that Clinton not only is guilty of multiple felonies, she's an accomplice to murder. And this goes on. I've only read about half of the article. If you want to read more on it, you can read more. But holy smoke. Why she's not in jail is beyond me. The next one is off of thelastgreatstand.com. Reason Wi-Fi on Hillary's campaign jet was turned off. Should chill you. And there's a video in this if you want to see it. This is rather short compared to some of the other articles. It says after James Comey had announced the reopening of Clinton investigation, Team Hillary wasn't even off the tarmac yet, and they were already lying directly into the cameras to the American people. As you'll learn in the video below, Hillary had the Wi-Fi turned off on her plane on purpose. The reason the Wi-Fi was turned off is yet another look into the real Hillary Clinton that should scare the hell out of people. Adding to paranoia of what could happen if a serial felon takes control of the Oval Office is a chilling email that was discovered over the weekend as part of WikiLeaks' latest release of John Podesta's emails. In an email shown below, there is talk of making an example out of internal campaign member who leaks, an example that goes beyond internal discipline. Given the fact that in weeks surrounding the DNC convention, 5 former Clinton associates who later turned adversaries were found dead of mysterious circumstances, all within just 6 weeks. It's understandable why this most recent Podesta email would be cause for alarm, particularly with Huma, perhaps. You can read the full email chain between Clinton campaign and John Podesta provided in a link below. While on the subject of the recent Podesta email about making an example out of an internal campaign member, let's not forget that news broke this weekend about how allegedly many of the files recovered on Anthony Weiner and Huma Abedin's devices were in a folder on a device labeled life insurance, implying that the longtime Clinton confidant knew one day she may need protection from the upcoming or from becoming yet another mysterious death associated with Clintons. Finally, since there has been some insight through leaked emails that Podesta and other campaign staffers were unaware of just how bad Clinton's situation was when it came to the private email server. Before you go feeling too bad for the mess Podesta finds himself in, be sure to see the warning Podesta received from Low Littlefield, offering Podesta some solid advice before getting all mixed up with the Clinton crime syndicate. So there you pretty much have that. There's some video and stuff in this that you can take a look at. Down here at the bottom of it, it says, does that send chills down anyone else's spine? Consider the following predictions made by James Wesley Rawls, a former military intelligence officer who chose to resign his commission rather than serve under Hillary's filthy husband, Bill, back when he was commander-in-chief, in a blog post titled Madam President, Clinton's Coming War on the Blogosphere and Your Countermeasures. Rawls details how if you thought Obama weaponizing of the IRS was bad when he silenced the Tea Party and sidelined hundreds of millions of dollars in order to steal the 2012 election, you haven't seen anything yet. In the article, Rawls goes into specifics about how Hillary Clinton will weaponize every department within the executive branch to completely stifle all dissenting speech. And it gives examples here. The Department of Justice will be used to selectively persecute dissenters for hate speech. The Securities and Exchange Commission will be used to target dissenters who make any comments about any corporations, mutual funds, or banks for operating as unregistered investment advisors. The Internal Revenue Service will be used to selectively audit tax filings, levy bank accounts, garnish wages, and refer criminal prosecution of anyone who voices dissent of HRC statistic agenda. Lois Lerner's group was just the precursor. Federal Trade Commission will crack down on any bloggers who make posts that might be construed as a product review or product endorsement. The U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Food and Drug Administration will crack down on producers of raw milk and nutritional supplements, and also on bloggers who promote them. And this goes on if you want to read more on that. I'm going to move on to the next article because I've got a bunch of stuff here. The next one's off of conservativetribune.com. Breaking. CNN busted trying to frame Trump. CNN, also known as the Clinton News Network, has gone out of its way to try to rig the election for Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton this year. It hasn't even tried to hide its bias in an attempt to destroy Republican nominee Donald Trump's chances at becoming president. Over the weekend, CNN tried to desperately find anything it could to distract the American people from the FBI's announcement that it was reopening the investigation into Clinton's use of an email server while she was Secretary of State. CNN ran a story on Sunday about a Trump rally in Colorado, only to blatantly lie about what Trump said at the rally in an attempt to smear him, they reported. The article in question originally ran with the headline, Trump, skeptical of mail-in balloting, encourages voting more than once if necessary. Here's a screen grab of the original, and it says, well, exactly what I've read there. Trump, skeptical of mail-in balloting, encourages voting more than once if necessary. Donald Trump is not letting up on his claims that the election could be rigged against him. It says, if you go to University Center, they'll give you a new ballot. They'll void your old ballot. In some places, they'll do that 4 or 5 times. So by tomorrow, almost everyone will have their new ballots in, Trump said at the rally, according to CNN's original article. However, there was more to that quote, which CNN decided not to run with. And it goes on, it says, quote, if you go to University Center, they'll give you a new ballot. They'll void your old ballot. They'll give you a new ballot. And you can go out and make sure it gets in. Now, in some places, they do that 4 or 5 times, but we don't do that. So by tomorrow, almost everyone will have their new ballots in, what Trump said. By selectively editing the quote, CNN made it appear that Trump was encouraging voter fraud. After publishing the original story, CNN changed the headline and the content to actually reflect what Trump actually said. Initially, the network did not indicate it had done so. However, a line was later added at the end of the article to indicate it had been changed. The new headline can be seen below and says, Trump strokes skepticism of Colorado voting system. Took down the tweet that had the incorrect headline. Maybe next time CNN will think twice before publishing such blatant lies. Instead of trying to cover up Clinton's corruption, maybe the network should just do its job and report the news. Next article is off of allnewspipeline.com. Panicked rats jumping ship. Clinton allies livid, withdrawing support, citing constitutional crisis as Clinton campaign admits to corruption. Lifelong Democrats, former Bill Clinton campaign pollster, Hillary Clinton supporters and allies, and even Mr. I feel this thrill go up my leg when Obama talks Chris Matthews, all publicly provide reasons why voters should not vote for Hillary Clinton. The piece de la resistance here is even the Clinton campaign has now publicly acknowledged that Hillary Clinton is corrupt. The board seemed to be having some type of meltdown since FBI Director James Comey announced that further emails have been discovered during the course of an investigation into Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin's husband, Anthony Weiner's sexting scandal, where thousands upon thousands of additional emails relevant to the Clintons' email server investigation had been discovered. But we are seeing a number of diehard Clinton supporters jumping ship. Hillary's campaign admits she is corrupt. Let's start with the panic with the Clinton campaign first. Evidenced by a tweet a campaign worker decided would be a good idea, posting an article from liberal website originally titled How to Choose Between the Most Corrupt, Least Popular Candidate of All Time, with the message, a guide to help you make your choice for president. And there is a screenshot here of this. And below it goes on the article, it says, I can't make this stuff up. I'll swear. Lord have mercy. This is something. So we know it was a campaign worker that posted the tweet because personal postings by Clinton always include an H after them. The purpose for posting it is because the website in question listed a number of reasons for not vote for Trump and only lists one not vote for Hillary, stating 1, poor email server management. On the first response pretty much says it all by Cassandra Fairbanks, stating that, oh my God, whoever is running her account admits she's corrupt. Another user reminds Slate that they forgot quite a bit on the Hillary corruption side of the list, offering up the image below. And this one gives a whole smear of reasons not to vote for Hillary. Foreign countries gave Hillary Clinton's foundation millions, and it tells every one of them. And Hillary Clinton's lies, scandal, cover-up, campaign, dollar fraud, murder. She was an unethical, dishonest lawyer. She conspired to violate the Constitution, the rules of the House, the rules of the committee, and the rules of confidentiality. And there's a whole list of stuff there. And then there's another one, women except for, and it gives a big list of the women that she hasn't voted for. Most of them have been sexually assaulted by her husband. And says no matter what Donald Trump has been accused of, he's never held public office. His decisions never endangered American lives. and never jeopardized national security. Hence the backlash against Hillary's campaign for linking that to Slate's article. Chris Matthews from MSNBC annihilates Hillary and Bill Clinton. Another die-hard Democrat and rabid Clinton supporter, Chris Matthews, on October the 27th of 2016, offered commentary on his MSNBC show Hardball, to which provided a variety of reasons why voters should not vote for Hillary Clinton. Because the clip in question did not offer the context of Matthews' statement and no date was offered on the video for when this occurred, I spent a portion of the morning reading through the transcripts of the hardball shows to find it. Matthews was lamenting on how Trump was complimenting Newt Gingrich on his exchange with Megyn Kelly, where he told her she was fascinated with sex instead of making the case to the public that Matthews thought he should be making. Matthews then presented the case that Trump should be making to the public, saying, do you like the continued destruction of our manufacturing base, the jobs that went with it? Do you like the uncontrolled legal immigration? Do you like the string of stupid wars from Iraq to Libya to Syria? If you want to say yes to all that, you want to keep all this the way it is. Vote for Hillary Clinton. If you don't like the way things have been headed, you got a chance to really shake the system to its roots. If you wake up the day after the election, and same as it is today, if it's the same 4 or 5 or 8 years from now, remember you had the chance to change it, but you were too dainty to do it. In this election, those would be the reasons that would be listed right at the top of the newspaper the day afterward. And there's video on this if you want to check out the video. It says that wasn't all Matthews had to say about that show either. Earlier in the show, Matthews and his panel were discussing how the Clintons have always used money to gain power and used power to gain more money. Then Matthews reminded viewers of the Clinton history within the White House, stating, you know what I think? I'm going to be more judgmental than Beth, who's a straight reporter. I'll make a judgment. Every time I watch a politician engage in a certain pattern of behavior before they go to the White House, they continue to engage in that pattern afterwards. People don't change because we swear them into the White House. They become that person big time. And the Clintons were raising money like this hand over hand over fist, back in 1996, using, we called it Motel 6. They were hoarding them in, pulling them in by trainloads of contributors, and then letting them sit in the Lincoln bedroom for a while and changing them by the hour. You can still vote for Hillary Clinton, but remember, you're getting this as part of the package because that's been their pattern. Longtime Clinton ally Do Schwan withdraws support for Clinton on national television. Douglas Schwan served as a pollster for President Bill Clinton for Hillary Clinton's 2008 presidential nomination campaign and later became associated with the People's United Means Action movement of disaffected Clinton supporters who refused to support Barack Obama. Schwan is a political analyst for Fox News and has consistently supported Hillary Clinton for president. Schwan shocked Fox News host Harris Faulkner when he publicly withdrew his support and his endorsement for Hillary Clinton on live television. Schwan expressed his deep concern that should Clinton be elected, he have a constitutional crisis. Following his statement on live TV, Schwan then wrote a column which first appeared at The Hill, where he highlighted his reasons for not being able to support Clinton any longer. I say this because regardless of what Secretary Clinton did or didn't do, or what her aide Huma Abedin did or didn't do, or even what Anthony Weiner did or didn't do, I'm now convinced that we will be facing a very real possibility of a constitutional crisis with many dimensions and deleterious consequences should Secretary Clinton win the election. In the best case scenario, there will be, at the very least, a criminal investigation of President-elect Clinton, and there will be a criminal investigation of Huma Abedin, which is apparently ongoing. Furthermore, there will be a potential investigation into the actions of the Justice Department and most of all the FBI and its director, James Comey. However, in good conscience, as a Democrat, I am actively doubting whether I can vote for Secretary of State. I also want to make clear that I cannot vote for Donald Trump, as his worldview and mine are very different. I remain a Democrat and proud of the work I did for 6 years for President Bill Clinton between 1994 and 2000, and I write with extreme sadness, but I cannot, in the waning days of the election, make the case that Secretary Clinton should be elected. I still share her worldview and am much closer to her approach to policies than I am Donald Trump. That said, with America facing a potential constitutional crisis after her election, I'm not able, under the circumstances we're facing, to vote for Secretary Clinton. Clinton's allies livid at Clinton try this again. Clinton's allies livid at Clinton for unforced error. On October 28, 2016, The Hill quoted another Clinton ally saying Democrats are paying the price because someone should have told her no, meaning Clinton, on her judgment about her private email server. Via The Hill says, and they worried that Clinton's unconventional email arrangement had finally caught up to her and might imperil her presidential bid less than 2 weeks before Election Day. One Clinton surrogate told The Hill, this has turned into malpractice. It's an unforced error at this point. I have no idea what Comey is up to, but the idea this email issue is popping back up again is outrageous. It never should have occurred in the first place. Someone somewhere should have told her no. They didn't, and now we're paying the price. Another ally called the campaign mood something akin to blamed Weiner's behavior for railroading the campaign. One strategist said the developments would further cement the notion that Clinton has something to hide. It's made people think there's always going to be something around Clinton's. Some investigation, some inquiry, the strategist said. It never goes away. Chicago Tribune columnist says Democrats should ask Clinton to step aside. On October 29th, 2016, John Cass over at the Chicago Tribune wrote a column stating, the best thing would be for Democrats to ask her to step down now. It would be the most responsible thing to do if the nation were more important to them than power. And the American news media are not firmly identified in the public minds as Mrs. Clinton's Political Action Committee should begin demanding it. He then admits that Clinton won't step aside, saying she'll stick and ride this out and turn her anger toward Comey. For Hillary and Bill Clinton, it's always been about power, about Clinton restoration and protecting fortunes already made by selling nothing but political influence. The reaction to his column and expands on why he thinks Democrats should ask Hillary to step aside below in an interview with Neil Cabato. And so you can check these videos out on your own if you want to. And it goes on and says, bottom line, none of the people quoted above are Donald Trump supporters, and all but Cass are on record as active Hillary Clinton supporters or former supporters, which should speak volumes to voters nationwide. These are people, for the most part, that have spent over a year defending Clinton, attacking Trump, offering up reasons why Clinton should be president, and now we see them highlighting Clinton's past, reminding viewers of the Clinton attack or Clinton antics back when Bill was president, offering up reasons why voters should not vote for Clinton, and telling the public in no certain terms that a Clinton presidency would cause a constitutional crisis. As I said above, Democrats have been having a meltdown, and whether they are just acting and speaking rashly due to panic or whatever, they are truly having an 11th hour change of heart. Last week seems to have been a turning point for many, and they are jumping off Clinton's Titanic campaign as fast as they can. And there's other articles that you can click the links on to read more on that if you'd like to. The next one that I have for you is off of BrizPack Review, and this one says, U.S. officials. Democrats, Donald Trump is not pals with Vladimir Putin. Democrats have long claimed that rival Donald Trump is pals with Russian President Vladimir Putin, and charged that the Kremlin is behind the hacking of Democrats' email accounts as part of some sinister plot to help the GOP nominee win the election. They also point to an alleged financial tie between Trump and Russia, but FBI has effectively quashed any chance of this being true. The New York Times reported Monday the FBI sees no clear links between Trump and Russia. The Bureau also dispelled the myth that the computer hacking was motivated by a desire to see Trump prevail in the race for the White House. More from the Times says, for much of the summer, FBI pursued a widening investigation into Russian role in the American presidential campaign. Agents scrutinized advisors close to Donald Trump, looked for financial connections with Russian financial figures, searched for those involved in hacking the computers of Democrats, and even chased a lead, which they ultimately came, no doubt, about for a possible secret channel of email communication from the Trump organization to a Russian bank. Law enforcement officials say that none of the investigations so far have found any conclusive or direct link between Mr. Trump and the Russian government, and even the hacking into Democratic emails. FBI and the intelligence officials now believe was aimed at disrupting the presidential election rather than electing Mr. Trump. Democrats are desperate to shift the focus away from the discovery of more Clinton-related emails and are upset that FBI Director James Comey is not helping them out by talking about the Bureau's probe of Trump's alleged ties with Russia and that country's involvement in the presidential election. No one more so than outgoing Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid. It has become clear that you possess explosive information about close ties and coordination between Donald Trump and his top advisors and the Russian government. Foreign interest openly hostile to the United States, which Trump praises at every opportunity, Reid wrote in a letter Sunday. The public has the right to know this information. Comey was every Democrat's best friend when he announced that he was not recommending charges be filed against Clinton, but has suddenly become public enemy number one after Friday's announcement of the new emails being discovered. The FBI declined to comment Monday, but the Times reported that intelligence officials said there was a broad investigation into possible links between Moscow and Trump. Unfortunately for Reid and other supporters of Hillary Clinton, the newspaper added that no evidence has emerged that would link Trump or anyone else in his business or political circle directly to Russia's election operations. Next article I have is off of thesleuthjournal.com. 21 things we've learned about Hillary Clinton from WikiLeaks that the mainstream media won't share, but you can. Let's talk about WikiLeaks. First of all, the organization was founded by Julian Assange back in 2006. Their website explains what they're all about. WikiLeaks specializes in the analysis and publication of large data sets or otherwise restricted official materials involving war, spying, and corruption. It has so far published more than 10 million documents and associated analysis. In the 11 years that they've been publishing documents, they have not been disproven a single time. Their record for authentication is perfect. So this means that a person would be pretty silly to disregard anything in the realm or in the reams of information about Hillary Clinton, the Democratic Party, the Clinton Foundation, and the political shenanigans that would put the Machiavellians to shame. Here are 21 of the most important things that have come out about Hillary Clinton that unfortunately no one is reporting on the mainstream. In the interest of brevity, each topic has a link to an article that goes deeper into the leak, in no particular order. Number one, John Podesta, the chairman of the Clinton campaign, had a nice cozy dinner with Peter Kazak officials in the Department of Justice the day after the Benghazi hearing. Kazak's son also asked for a job on the Clinton campaign, and the icing on the corruption cake, Kazak led the effort to nominate Loretta Lynch, who famously met with Bill Clinton on a private plane right before Hillary's interrogation about Emailgate. Number two, we all knew that the Clinton Foundation was just a way for the Clinton family to launder money. Zero Hedge writes today, WikiLeaks dump included that memo, which reveals for the first time the precise financial flows between the Clinton Foundation's brand firm Tenneco Consulting, and the Clinton family's private business endeavors. A pundit called this leak the Rosetta Stone of the Clinton Foundation, meaning that all other shady financial dealings could be unraveled and translated. Number 3, Clinton is unable to speak for very long without a podium to lean on. Numerous leaked emails reference how certain interviews have to be kept short because, and this article references very interesting reason why this may be the case, surprising it isn't related to her health. Number 4, the leaks also show that Clinton intends to do her best to restrict the Second Amendment. Brian Fallon, the National Press Secretary for the Clinton campaign, wrote, circling back around on guns as a follow-up to the Friday morning discussion, the Today Show has indicated they will definitely plan to ask about guns, and so to have the discussion be more of a news event than her previous times discussing guns, we're going to background reporters tonight on a few of the specific proposals she would support as president. Universal background checks, of course, but also closing the gun show loophole by executive order and imposing manufacturer liability. Analysis of the Daily Sheeple, imposing manufacturer liability means that after Shady Hook, Bushmaster, and Remington Arms would have been prosecuted for having of children and the school staff members for firearms that were legally sold. Number 5, the campaign was concerned that the sexual escapades of Bill Clinton could be linked to those of another disgraced celebrity, Bill Cosby. Political operative Ron Klain sent an urgent email saying that Hillary should anticipate the following questions. How is what Bill Clinton did different from what Bill Cosby did? Is his conduct relevant to your campaign? You said every woman should be believed. Why not the women who accused him? Will you apologize to the women who were wrongly smeared by your husband and his allies? Number 6, Clinton's campaign deliberately leaked an embarrassing photo of a swimsuit-clad Bernie Sanders to the press, ironically insinuating that it was proof he was bought off by Wall Street. Perez Hilton wrote, Bernie Sanders lounges at elite Martha's Vineyard pool summer of 2015 after help raising money from Wall Street lobbyists. Number 7, Clinton admits she is out of touch with media middle class in a speech to Goldman BlackRock in 2014. And I am not taking a position on I'm not taking a position on any policy, but I do think there is growing sense of anxiety and even anger in the country over the feeling that the game is rigged. And I never had the feeling when I was growing up, never. I mean, there were really rich people, of course, and there were complaining about big business and big government, but we had a solid middle class upbringing. We had good public schools. We had accessible health care. We had our little, one family house that, he saved up his money, didn't believe in mortgages. So I lived that. And now, obviously, I'm kind of far removed because of the life I've lived and the economic, fortunes that my husband and I now enjoy, but I haven't forgotten it. 8. She made this rather NWO remark at the 2013 paid speech to Brazilian bank Banco Itaú. My dream is a hemispheric common market with open trade and open borders sometime in the future with energy that is as green and sustainable as we can get, powering growth and opportunity for every person in the hemisphere. Number 9, in a leak of yet another paid speech, this time to the Jewish United Fund of Metropolitan Chicago in 2013, Clinton said that Jordan and Turkey can't possibly vet all those refugees, so they don't know if, jihadists are coming in along with legitimate refugees. Has her way, we will be warmly welcoming 65,000 refugees a year, which makes Obama's 10,000 a year look like small potatoes. Number 10, Clinton blackmailed the Chinese by telling them that the U.S. would base missiles in the region if they didn't control over the North Korean aggression. So China, come on. You either control them or we're going to have to defend against them. told the audience at a Goldman Sachs conference in June 2013. Number 11. In May 2015, Clinton was no longer Secretary of State, but was ready to announce she was running for president when she was invited to attend a summit in Morocco. The implication from the leaked emails was that a $12 million donation from the King of Morocco was dependent on Clinton attending the summit. Abedin, usually loyal to her boss, had concerns. Not part of it. Meeting was a non-starter. She created this mess and she knows it. Her presence was a condition for the Moroccans to proceed, so there is no going back on this, Abedin wrote to Robbie Mook in a November 2014 email. Incidentally, Clinton didn't attend. Bill and Chelsea went instead, and the $12 million donation was not forthcoming. Podesta attacked Clinton's primary election rival, Bernie Sanders, for criticizing the Paris climate change agreement. Can you believe that the doofus Bernie attacked it, said Podesta. Number 13, Clinton told a Goldman Sachs conference that she would like to intervene secretly in Syria. My view was you intervene as covertly as is possible for Americans to intervene, she told employees of the bank in South Carolina, which had paid her about $225,000 to give a speech. We used to be much better at this than we are now. You know, everybody can't help themselves. They have to go out and tell and somebody else, look what we're doing, and I want credit for it. Number 14, there is indeed a definite link between the Clintons' campaign and what mainstream media is allowed to say. The campaign has colluded directly with media spokespersons that read like a who's who in American media. Dan Merca from CNN, Haim Shaban of Univision, John Harwood of CNBC and the New York Times, Rebecca Quick of CNBC, Maggie Haberman of New York Times and Politico, John Harris of Politico, Donna Brazile, formerly of CNN, Roland Martin of TV One, Marjorie Pritchard of the Boston Globe, and of Heat Street. As everyone knows, the DNC deliberately screwed Bernie Sanders out of the nomination. Number 16, there are emails that prove who is actually pulling HRC's puppet strings, and that puppeteer is George Soros. The shadow government is not just a conspiracy theory. It really exists, and Hillary's job is to keep George Soros happy. Number 17, excerpts from her speech to Wall Street read like a guide to two-faced. In them, she clearly points out that sometimes you need to lie. If everybody's watchdog, you know, all of the backroom discussions and the deals, you know, then people get a little nervous, to say the least. So you need both a public and private position. Number 18, WikiLeaks emails show that back when she still worked at CNN, before she became an employee of the Clinton campaign, Donna Brazile gave Hillary the questions in advance for her impromptu CNN town hall questions. Number 19, the campaigns got to approve articles in influence publications like New York Times, Huffington Post, CNN, NBC, CBS, New York Times, MSNBC, and Politico, showing massive collusion with the mainstream media, who has hounded Trump relentlessly in an effort to distract from HRC's abysmal candidacy. Number 20, through the treasure trove of WikiLeaks emails, we can gain an of how Hillary Clinton really feels about us all. Spoiler, basket of deplorables, basement dwellers, and right-wing conspirators. Number 21, President Obama knew the whole time that her emails were not coming from a secure State Department server. Cheryl Mills wrote to John Podesta, "We need to clean this up. He has emails from her. They do not say State Gov." You see, Obama's emails have to be from whitelisted addresses, so someone somewhere added her non-secure email to his whitelist. And finally, here's the reason that treacherous shrew is involved in politics, and let me tell you, it isn't because she yearns to make things better for anyone but herself. says at Goldman Sachs Builders and Innovators Summit, Clinton responded to a question from Chief Executive Lloyd Blankfein, who quipped that you go to Washington to make a small fortune. Clinton agreed with the comment and complained about ethics rules that require officials to divert from certain assets before entering government. There is such a bias against people who have led successful and/or complicated lives, Clinton said. Together we cannot be ignored. I'm on a mission between now and the presidential election on November 8th, and I hope that you will join me. I'm going to work day and night to provide the coverage that the mainstream media is not. It isn't until we combine all of our voices that we can make people listen to the scandals, the rigging, the corruption, but in the system in general. Please join your voice with mine by liking, sharing, and spreading the word. So there's that article. Next one I have is off of BizPac Review. WikiLeaks. Here's how the Clinton free luxury jet scam works. Ira Magaziner, the CEO of the Clinton Health Access Initiative, asked former President Bill Clinton to thank Morocco's King Mohammed VI for offering his plane to the conference in Ethiopia. CHAI would like to request that President Clinton call Sheikh Mohammed to thank him for his offering the plane to the conference in Ethiopia, Magaziner gushed in a November 22nd, 2011 email released by WikiLeaks. Clinton frequently has expected free, luxurious private jet travel during his post-presidential life. Clinton, his wife, and daughter have artfully secured free air travel and luxurious accommodations since they left the White House. It's an effective way to accept gifts of great value without declaring them for the Clinton Foundation. It's highly illegal, and it's likely that the owners of these aircraft took tax deductions as a gift to the Clinton Foundation. Charles Ortel, a Wall Street analyst and critic of the Clinton Foundation, told the Daily Caller News Foundation. In the Moroccan case, Clinton was able to fly for free, jetting 3,367 miles from Rabat, Morocco to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, on King's specially equipped 747-400 jumbo jet. Not including the flight, King Mohammed has donated at least $28 million to the Clinton Foundation. Clinton was traveling to attend a conference organized by Sheikh Mohammed Hussein Al Amadi, an Ethiopian Saudi billionaire who is the second wealthiest man in Saudi Arabia. The Sheikh has donated up to $10 million to the Clinton Foundation. But neither the Clinton Foundation nor CHAI have listed any non-cash contributions, such as free jumbo jet travel, on their 2011 tax return for the free use of the aircraft. Clinton also stayed in 2014 at a five-star hotel in Jaipur, India, on official Clinton Foundation business, and stayed at a $13,900 per night villa, which was not itemized on the foundation tax returns. Then there are large numbers of other free trips and expensive perks Clinton's many from foundation donors. Vinod Gupta, former CEO of InfoUSA, was sanctioned by Securities and Exchange Commission for using company assets such as cars, yachts, and luxury vacations without approval from the board or any other authorizing party. He was later fired and fined $9 million. But Gupta also gave Clinton and his family $900,000 worth of free air travel on the company jet, according to the SEC. One free Gupta trip in 2002 was for Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton to fly free to Acapulco, Mexico for a family vacation, according to a New York Times report. Another InfoUSA jet ride was for Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton to travel to New Mexico that cost $18,480. A group called Friends of Hillary paid a paltry $2,127 for the trip. Gupta has contributed up to $5 million to the foundation, according to Clinton Foundation. Saudi crown prince in 2004. Now King Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz gave Clinton his personal Boeing 767 to fly with 20 of his best friends to Davos, Switzerland to attend the annual Global Gab Fest. Business kingpins, according to Joe Conason, a Clinton supporter and author of the new book, Man of the World. The Saudi king has donated more than $25 million to the Clinton Foundation. Clinton also traveled numerous times free of charge on film producer Stephen L. Bing's Boeing 737. Bing has donated up to $25 million to the foundation. The former president has flown on Ron Burkle's private jets through Central Asia, India, and China, and Clinton pocketed $15 million to be part of the Buckle's Yucapa Partners hedge fund. While in Yucapa, Clinton became a business partner with United Arab Emirates Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum and his Dubai Investors Group. Dubai Foundation and the United Arab Emirates have each contributed $5 million to the Clinton Foundation. Perhaps the most notorious freebie flights were when Clinton flew 26 times on a private jet owned by sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. His aircraft, dubbed the Lolita Express, was supposed to be equipped with a bed for sex with underage girls. On at least 5 occasions, Clinton dumped his Secret Service detail for the flights, according to Fox News. Next article I have for you is off of Liberty Writers News. Media fallout. Look what CNN just did to Hillary after learning she rigged another debate. That's pretty freaking huge. You know, Hillary Clinton's empire is burning when CNN, the Clinton News Network of all companies, turns on her. She's that toxic. They just learned yesterday that Donna Brazile, the current DNC chairwoman and former CNN contributor, leaked the questions of multiple debates to the Clinton campaign. It turns out that Brazile had been helping Hillary rig the debates all the way back to the Democratic primaries on CNN. One of the questions directed to HRC tomorrow is from a woman with a rash. Her family has lead poisoning, and she will ask, what, if anything, will Hillary do as president to help the people of Flint? And it says CNN released this statement before immediately cutting all ties with Donna Brazile and her DNC. We are completely uncomfortable with what we have learned about her interactions with the Clinton campaign while she was a CNN contributor. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I'm glad to see Hillary Clinton's media empire. Now let's make this great news all over the web so other big companies will follow their lead. We the people are winning. And there's more pages to that one if you want to read more. The next one I have is off of conservativetribune.com. Fox News reporter Hillary claims Hillary lost it after being asked about FBI investigation. Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton has been bombarded with bad news lately, particularly on Friday when FBI announced it was taking a new look at her private email server after officials learned of additional evidence on former congressman and accused pervert Anthony Weiner's laptop. To make matters worse for her political aspirations, Clinton hasn't been handling the scandal well, apparently, as she was asked about it on Friday at a news conference and issued a strange response, Mad World News reported. Fox News reporter Kristen Welker asked the former Secretary of State if she was worried this could sink her campaign, but instead of responding in a mature manner or responding at all, Clinton simply threw her head back and laughed, according to Fox News correspondent Jennifer Griffin. Griffin thought Clinton had lost it, describing the candidate's response as really odd. Even BuzzFeed reporter Ruby Kramer, who regularly covers Clinton's campaign, thought the laugh was notable as she tweeted about the strange response. Clinton only lets out big laughs, Kramer wrote. What was said there was in a tweet shown here, and it says it's less likely that Clinton thought the question was funny or even laughably ridiculous, but rather that she had once again wiggled out of being held accountable, only to end up in danger of being brought down by the likes of scandal-plagued serial sexter Weiner, the estranged husband of longtime Clinton aide Huma Abedin. The Clinton's ship is sinking more every day, and there's little to nothing the corrupt candidate can do to stop it. Hence the public meltdown in the form of maniacal laugh. So there you have that article. And one more here is from teaparty.org. And this one says, wow, Dem pollster. This year's election is shaping up to be like 1980, 40-state Trump landslide. And there is a video in this. It says, voters abandoning establishment candidate in droves. Off of InfoWars. According to former Jimmy Carter pollster Pat Caddell, Hillary Clinton is hemorrhaging support as a result of the FBI announcement, and we could see a repeat of the 1980 election when anti-establishment candidate Ronald Reagan won in a landslide. Caddell drew comparison to the 1980 presidential race, which was close right up until the final days before the electorate abandoned Carter and rallied around anti-establishment candidate, leading Reagan taking the victory in a landslide. Caddell noted that Carter's entire campaign had been built around portraying Reagan as an unqualified and dangerous, in similar vein to how Clinton was demonized, or to how Clinton has demonized Trump. Caddell explained that the polling between Reagan and Carter was close up until the final weekend when the dam broke and Reagan shot ahead by 10 points, stating that he had been looking at the data regarding unfavorability ratings for both Obama and Trump, or Clinton and Trump. Caddell noted that since Friday, large numbers of voters had structurally moved against the status quo, the incumbent, who is essentially Hillary Clinton. As an ABC News poll found, Hillary's unfavorability rating just hit its highest ever mark. Caddell said that the latest information regarding the FBI reopening its investigation into Hillary's email scandal was the popper that could open up significantly before it's over, meaning it would be the decisive factor that enables Trump to defeat Hillary. And there's a link in that you can click on, and there's a video you can watch. And I don't know how many people listen to this show that aren't familiar with my other channel, but I do have a link to the other channel in the description of this video. And I put up a song that I wrote, and several people have listened to it, and they're getting a kick out of it, and it's called the Hillary song. So you know, if you'd like to take a look at that sometime, get a chuckle. It's only, I don't know, a minute and a half long or something, but you might get a chuckle out of that. And I have one more article for you. I always like to leave the show with a high point, you know, something that makes people pause. So I don't usually do that in my special editions, but there was so much of this garbage this time on this election that I thought this needs a boost. So I'm going to do a screen share here if I can get it to work, and let you watch this video. It's 4.5 minutes long, but I think you'll enjoy it. So we're going to try to get it up. That looks like it's coming up on the screen, so we'll make it big and play it for you.
Please take out your gratitude journals and write down 3 things that you're grateful for, that you appreciated from today, and make sure that you're comfortable sharing at least one of them. So we teach an extended day, and we were noticing that the kids were leaving very discouraged and keeping a gratitude journal, because it forces a happy end to the day, no matter how discouraging it is. And it also levels the playing field. No matter how successful you felt academically during the day, no matter what happened on the playground, everybody can find success in the gratitude journals. My name is Whitney Cole, and I teach 6th grade at Oak Ridge Elementary in Sacramento, California. Well, every day when the kids come to school, you have no idea what they've for, whether it's been positive or whether it's been negative, and how they've kind of adapted to that stress and how they've handled it. Typically, what comes up with students, they usually need a lot of support with figuring out their emotions. There could be violence in the neighborhood that may have scared them, or if you've lost somebody recently, sometimes they just want someone to talk to and process through their feelings.
My name is Elijah. I think gratitude is not only saying thank you, but it's being grateful for what you have.
Hi, I'm Liza. I think we do the exercise of gratitude to look at things, say what we're grateful for, and once we're grateful, it might make a hard day turn into an easy day.
My name is Diamond. I used to be like really picky, and I wanted everything. I was never grateful for everything, but when they taught us gratitude, I've actually changed, and now I'm more grateful for the things that I have.
When the kids use the vocabulary of the character strengths and start to present qualities of those character strengths, it doesn't stop when they leave Oak Ridge. It continues. It starts becoming part of their everyday behavior, and that will absolutely show up back home.
I think it's important because we wouldn't be prepared for the real world. Like, if we say something that comes out wrong, then we would know how to fix it to not hurt somebody's feelings.
The character strength have helped my daughter so much. She has grown from being shy to being more outspoken.
Our character strengths I've actually shown like a lot. My mom noticed that. She was like, "Hey, did you know that you show curiosity a lot since you've been in Miss Cole's class?"
The school and the community have done a good job coming together as one large support network for the students. Even though some of their challenges are really large and they face a lot of adversity, they are still inspired because they're still kids. And so they still want what all kids want. And they have high hopes for their futures. And I think that's sixth grade is bittersweet because they're the oldest kids here. They're the role models. You really get to shape who they are and what they learn, and then you get to watch them fly on their own.
I'm gonna tell my mom way more that I love her, that I'm thankful for her. She means a lot to me. I can't describe her, and I could describe her in many different ways. I love her the most.
Diamond means so much to me. She's the reason why I'm pushing myself actually to go to college. I want her to know that.
Okay, so there you have that. I thought you'd enjoy that. Very important message, and it's not just for children. It's something that we all ought to do at least once a week. Daily is really ideal. Write down 3 things that you're grateful for. We go through so much of this negativity in our lives that we tend to not stay balanced. We get out of balance thinking about all the negative stuff, and we need to think about the things that we're grateful for. If you concentrate more on the things that you're grateful for than the negativity, you'll notice a big change in your life. Start getting yourself back in balance, and every day just it's kind of important to write it down, but if you're not able to write it down for whatever reason, maybe you're going to be doing this in a vehicle when you're driving or something, just think about, okay, it's time for me to come up with 3 things that I'm grateful for today. You know, it could be your home, your family, your vehicle, your job, you got food, you have a place for a garden, you got friends, you got a neighbor or somebody that is a special person to you, whatever your religious beliefs are. I mean, there's a myriad of things that you can be grateful for. So just sit back and concentrate on that every day for a few minutes about the things that you're grateful for. And with that, we're going to end the broadcast. And if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up and share it around. Bye.